All right. Well, again, welcome to the call. It's good to see so many of you on here. I know that it's been a little bit of a crazy last few weeks with where we were gone last week and then the Super Bowl, and there was just like a bunch of stuff going on. But anyway, it's good to be back. And really tonight, we're not going to have a hot seat. There's Chad. I'm seeing Chad like run across my screen. I love it. So tonight, we're not going to do a hot seat. We're just going to really talk marketing strategy for the next month. I kind of wanted to kind of walk you through just how my mind works kind of as we have a boot camp starting, because we have a brand new boot camp starting tomorrow, the 80-day obsession round 2. And so I think immediately, like when that happens, we kind of like freeze, at least I do a little bit. And I'm like, okay, like now what? Like, what do I invite to now? Or we almost like take a little break because we're like, well, our next boot camp doesn't start for another month. And so I really wanted to kind of just talk through what I'm thinking for the next month. And as always, you guys are always welcome to plug yourself into anything that I'm doing as far as groups are concerned. All right, so we have the fresh start with 80-day obsession tomorrow. And it's really, this round's really going to be pretty much a repeat of everything that we have done in the first round. Alyssa has scheduled all of the posts that I'm sharing, the daily posts for that group. So those are set to go as far as like the daily check-ins. And then I am planning to do some lives in there as well because I want it to feel fresh. If you guys have clients in there, I would love your help to really be able to keep the engagement in that group up as well. Just because I know most of us have started in January, but really want to make sure that people who are starting tomorrow feel that energy in the community of that group. And so if you could at a minimum at least just share your workouts, selfies in both groups, in both the January group and the February group, that would be awesome. And then here's Jake. Jake was out of town this weekend, and so we made an impromptu trip to the Mall of America tonight because our kids were like going crazy. You guys, I'm so over this weather. Like, I am like ready. They're saying hi to you.
Hello.
Just ready for some warm weather. So we went there. So anyway, he was getting someone in bed again. But all right, so that's the group that's starting tomorrow, the 80-day obsession group. And then, so now what? So let's look at the next month ahead here. And one thing that Jake and I were talking about tonight was that, we were kind of thinking about like, okay, so we're going to probably start another round of 80-day obsession in March. We were looking at dates and we haven't decided on that. I'm probably going to talk to the diamonds tomorrow. We have a weekly call with the diamonds and star diamonds and really kind of strategize around that and figuring out what might be the best week in March, just because there's like spring breaks and you guys know people come up with tons of excuses as to why to not start at different times of the year. But we did think that spring break is a huge opportunity. And every year we've seen a huge spike when you kind of market to the sense of people getting ready for spring break. So we thought that we could bring back Sweat Well Spent for just like a 3-week boot camp at the end of February. And so Jake would lead that. And it would be a mashup, again, of all of the different workouts on BOD. So it's not going to follow a specific program. We had really, really good feedback. People are still, like, when I'm reaching out to clients and chatting, like, they're still talking about those rounds because it was just very different. And so we're planning February 26th to start a 3-week Sweat Well Spent for anyone who maybe is like not feeling the 80-day obsession. Maybe they just want something a little bit faster to get ready for spring break. So we're going to do that. So you could be marketing about that over the next couple of weeks because they would need to order like before next week for that. The other thing that we really wanted to talk about was Take Back the Kitchen. I feel like with the 80-day obsession is sort of taken over everything, and there was a great reason for it because it's so popular and that's just what's hot right now. But I've even noticed, like, when I was looking back at my social media, I'm like, I got to talk about that more because it's such an incredible program that we have that no other team has. And so today, for example, I was like, you know what? I just like snap a picture of my kids drinking Daily Sunshine. And I did it and posted just something super simple. And I had like 7 different people reach out and they're like, oh my gosh, I really need to do that, because they've been following it along following along the journey of Take Back the Kitchen. And I think now that we've been doing it for like 7 months too, it gives the program credibility. People can trust that it's going to be something that stays around for a while. Erin, what did you say? We've been ignoring what we're offering. Yes, absolutely. Like we've been talking a lot about, people don't know, what's the phrase again? They only know, like, they don't know what you offer unless you tell them what you offer. And so even like you guys, as 80-day obsession rolls out and people start to do it without a coach, like if they know that you have 80-day obsession menus, huge opportunity for you to really, leverage the fact that they should sign up with you as opposed to anyone else. Okay. Why don't you talk about Take Back the Kitchen? I know you had some thoughts.
Hey, hello everybody. As it pertains to Take Back the Kitchen, even earlier this week, Jeff Hill reached out to Amber to ask if we were in the 1x3x5 Carl group, and then Amber responded back or something, and then Carl messaged. He's like everything that we're talking about, everything that we're sharing there has everything to do with what Jake and Amber and their team are doing with Take Back the Kitchen. So let's make sure that they're in there. And I don't know what that means or like what the opportunity is going to be coming down the line for it. But like even Carl, who's the CEO of the company, loves this idea with Take Back the Kitchen. So if we're not running with it and we're not talking about it and we're not sharing recipes, like literally put it on your radar to do something once a week. I don't think it has to be even a daily thing. Just like mention to people that you're doing it. I thought it was crazy that Amber just put something up and had 7 people reach out saying that they'd like more information on it. So I just think it's something we can't lose sight of. And I think it's such a great weapon in your bag to actually be able to talk about something that you have to offer that nobody else can. Because when it comes to sales, it's all about having different tools that you can access when you need them. And that's why certain people choose to work with particular vendors. That's why certain people decide to sign up with a particular coach. They feel like the resources, the training, like you're seeing a lot of this, like a lot of people saying that they're going to mentor people. Right? And so you're signing up for a coach more for mentorship than you are necessarily even for Beachbody. Same thing here with Take Back the Kitchen. We have something that nobody else has, but if nobody knows about it, we're not going to be selling anything or bringing on anybody additionally. The other thing that we're going to be kind of trying to drum back up here is trying to find the people who originally signed up for Take Back the Kitchen and really weren't interested in the workouts. They just wanted to do the nutritional piece. And trying to figure out how can, like, what we want to do is kind of create a panel of people, like a little executive panel that can help us figure out what to do with Take Back the Kitchen TV so we can continue to bring value to it. Monica's doing a great job with the giveaways and some recipes, but that's 2 days a week. That leaves 5 days a week that there's no content, no nothing going on that page. And I just think it's with 11,000 and like just the power of that and then the power of what we have to offer, we should be able to be doing so much more with Take Back the Kitchen.
That's awesome. Erin says she has a girl asking now why she should pick me, which is, yeah, so cool that, we have something to say, this is why,
But if nobody knows, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So like you can think that it's great. It is a great idea. We just have not done a real good job of maintaining it. And honestly, I think that's in sales in general. Like anybody who has some affiliation with sales would tell you, like, new products come out all the time and you kind of get bogged down with something else for a little bit, but we got to come back to our bread and butter. We have a product at Medtronic that's very labor intensive. And no matter what they tell us to do for sales spiffs and focus on this and product launches, I always come back to the labor-intensive product, the product that none of my competitors have, because I realize if I can get them in there for the product that I have that my competitors don't, they're always going to need me to come back to it. They're always going to need that service. That's my differentiator. And then from there, then I can sell them all the other ancillary stuff. But if you almost look at 80-Day Obsession and Shakeology and performance and all that as kind of your ancillary, and you look at Take Back the Kitchen as, hey, this is the one thing that I have that nobody else has, could really be a difference maker in your business. And especially that component that is tied to the actual fitness programs, because it doesn't have to be 80-day obsession. They could do the time nutrition. They could just make the meal plan and do shift shop. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, we just got to be better about figuring out what people actually are wanting to do and then plugging in the little pieces that we have to grow our business.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, what you said about, you wouldn't have to use the 80-day obsession plan with just 80-day obsession, because I feel like what's really special now in terms of Take Back the Kitchen is that we do have something for every sort of person that regarding where they're at in their journey. So obviously the way that I look at it is the regular Take Back the Kitchen menu is more for just, the family that wants to eat healthier, but maybe they're not so concerned about like tracking or calorie counting. They just want to make an overall healthy change for their family. So we have that. And now with 80-day obsession, meal plans, we have the person that wants to dial it in, lose the weight fast, hit goals, by a certain timeline. So we have that. And so, we may even think about marketing that a little bit more generally so that it's not just like 80-day obsession plans, but more just like, your athlete, whatever.
That's smart.
So I think, what were you going to say something?
I was just going to add one last thing. I was at the airport today, and when I travel with all my Beachbody.
Oh, is Erin waving her hand? Are you raising your hand? Go for it. Is she on?
No, I just said me too. Like, I was at the airport today. Like, I was like, hey, me too.
Makes two of us.
Sorry, guys.
You guys are probably so sick of the airport right now.
I'm about done, and I'm traveling next weekend too, so it never ends. What I was going to say, I travel with all my Beachbody stuff, but I was going as carry-ons this time, so I had to like go through security with it, and then anytime that they see all these containers, they want to do like the swab or whatever to make sure it's not dangerous. So the guy that was talking to me was like, "Oh, do you like Beachbody?" I was like, "Oh, yeah. My wife and I do a lot with Beachbody." He goes, "Oh, it's interesting. My sister sold me on all the Shakeology stuff, and I did it for a little bit, but it's so expensive that I stopped." And it got me thinking when he said it. I didn't really like get into what are the odds Jake is in Nashville next weekend. I wish I was in Nashville next weekend, but actually I don't, because I'm going to Vegas.
He's going to.
Oh, no way. Oh, I would actually. No, I still would rather be in Vail. I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to spending some time on the mountain. But other than that, I would love to be in Nashville with you. It'd be a riot. But what I was going to say is, like, they started, this guy was telling me about the value and it costs so much. And it got me thinking. I came home right away and told Amber that, like, the problem is that, like, for him, there wasn't enough value to justify the price. And we get priced so often that if we're not pivoting to like the additional meal plans and the accountability that could be nutrition, because that can be a real killer for people. They can be great with the workouts and horrible with their nutrition and not see any results. Like, that's such an additional benefit that we offer people. So all we need to do is just make sure that we're just plugging in that component each and every time. Even when you're just promoting your normal challenge groups, I'd start adding that in there, because if they're battling costs with somebody, whether it's their spouse or their friend or whatever, like, that's just an added benefit. It's an added value that can justify that, however much money they're spending.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the point there, you guys, is just talking about more about like meals really in general. Like, you don't have to be a walking sales pitch all the time. Like today, obviously, my post was pretty, like, I would consider salesy, because I shared a picture of Daily Sunshine Cup, which, by the way, I want to talk about that for a quick second, because, we always tell you guys, like, don't just do your Shakeology cup. Like, don't take a photo of that. So some people might be like, well, why did you take a picture of your Daily Sunshine Cup? In my opinion, I don't think Daily Sunshine is very well known as a brand yet. And so when I share about it, I'm always like, people don't even know that it's associated with Beachbody. And so I'm sure there will come a point in time when it just becomes like, oh my gosh, every other Beachbody coach is sharing about Daily Sunshine, that maybe I won't. But for now, since the brand is so new, I do kind of just sprinkle it in there a little bit. So anyway, just sharing about your meals. How much do we give and share without diminishing Monica's time and value? Yeah, I think that's a really good question, Erin. And that's something that that I'm constantly asking myself too, is like, how do you give people a taste? And one idea we had tonight was to do another free week, but like 80-day obsession or, style. So they get that a little bit, but
we could also get better about doing regular free weeks.
Right,
we do like
right.
a free week once a year.
Yeah, I know. We just have to get back into that. And so, but I would say, like, in my opinion, it's okay to share like one recipe a week, I think. I mean, I don't think that's going to take away everything that she's doing. But maybe let's add that to the list, Erin, tomorrow to talk about for the mastermind. Maybe we can come up with some like solid things about that. Because I think that's a really good question.
Mommy, can you some more chocolate milk?
Oh my gosh.
Mom, give me more chocolate
Okay.
milk.
Chocolate milk? Can I get you chocolate milk?
Mom, you have to give me chocolate milk.
Okay.
What? What's up next?
Okay, next is the Instagram thing.
Instagram, great.
Just like
Reiterate. Okay. So Amber does want to talk to you guys a little bit about the video that was posted regarding Instagram. And the thing before she gets into that I'll just kind of say we're doing a little bit what I'll consider maybe a bit of a pilot right now with this Push to Elite. I'm a big proponent of action, taking action every day in your business and doing something that moves your business forward. And a lot of this stuff that we talk about here, and even like what Amber's going to talk to you about the Instagram thing, we were talking about this in the car, that we can share all this stuff. I mean, you can share recipes, you can share your pictures, your stories, you can tell people what's working for you. And legitimately, there's like 10% of people that go and actually insert it into their business and do it. So I really want to encourage you when we're having these conversations, or there's these videos and these trainings that are shared, to like take it and even just like implement it for a week to see if it fits your business and it works for you. But I really want this team to be doers more so than just dreamers, because it's really easy to talk about what we're going to do and to share all of these really exciting ideas that, I'm going to create this graphic and I'm going to put this online and I'm going to recruit this person. But if you like say it, or if you spend way too much time working on something that isn't actually going to make you money or get you clients, then you're just kind of wasting your time. So as it pertains to what Amber wants to talk to you now about the whole Instagram bit, I think it's a really interesting idea. And we really want to incentivize you guys to try it for a month. Because if there's one thing that we hear all the time, it's how do I grow my cold market? And we've been trying to figure out how to do it ourselves. We do an okay job. But I think some of the training that was shared this week was really solid, but none of you will know if you don't do it. And sure, Amber and I can go out and do it, and we will, because we want to win. But my challenge to you would be to be action-oriented people as well. So we hear this, you watch the video. If you guys have not watched the video, become action-oriented people that go back and watch the video. But like, let's just raise the bar a little bit, because if you really want to grow your cold market, you're going to have to take some action steps. And part of that is going to be understanding what these tips are. And then the other part of it is going to be actually implementing it, going out and doing it. And I promise you this stuff works. So otherwise they don't put us, like if what we do doesn't work, they don't give us the opportunity to talk, right, on a call. So it works. So I'll hand that over to you. That was a good filler.
No, and the reason why, like, when I was hearing Jen speak, like, it resonated with me was because that's exactly how I build Instagram. Like, when I started my blog 5 years ago, like, I was so consistent day in and day out, like adding new people, commenting on, like, and this wasn't even like, I wasn't even trying to coach or anything, but I held myself to a really high standard in terms of how I was growing on there. And I think that, the stuff that she put out there, if you have not listened to the training, just a few highlights that she recommends are, number one, she adds 100
Pen and paper, folks.
Yeah. She
telling you, don't just listen to it.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, what's funny, you guys, is people will share all their secrets because they know that only 5% of people are actually going to implement them.
You took it down. I said 10.
Oh, did he just share this? No, I'm pretty sure I heard 5.
Well, I don't know.
Well,
I was just winging it at 10. So
okay.
Even less.
So number 1 is she follows 100 new people a day. Now that sounds intense, right? And so obviously, like she said, make it work for you. But she's like, I just do it like 10 people at a time, and it really doesn't take that long.
And here's the thing. I'm going to just keep jumping in here because maybe you can't reach out to 100 people, or that seems like super, super intense. But you want to know how your business would grow really quick is even if you did 10 people a day. Like for those of us that don't do that kind of stuff, like 100 is boom, like you're an elite top 20 coach, but 10 can get you on your way. So everything in scale, everything to scale.
You know, whatever you can do, I would say whatever you can do consistently.
Tangible action items.
Right. And so that was the one thing that she said was she follows 100 people, and she does like the follow unfollow method. And so I'm planning to write this all out. So we hopefully have this some documented somewhere easily in text. But the next thing she said is that she also then comments and tries to engage with at least like 50 different conversations, whether it's comments or like messages, 50 different people. And how is she finding these people? She's using hashtags, you know, she's finding like common interests that she has with them. I think actually before she mentioned the 100 people, she mentioned that she creates an interest list basically on who she is. So she knows exactly who she's talking to. But the tangibles is what I'm trying to kind of get into place here as far as daily. Like I'm thinking if I gave it an hour a day that I could get all this stuff done if I was focused. And what's cool is that this is an hour a day of stuff that moves your business forward. Yeah, that's a really good point, Erin. These are not Beachbody coaches. You guys do not follow other Beachbody coaches.
Asking. What about following?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Do not follow. I mean, you guys can maybe follow a few that you're like really admire, but the goal here is for you to build your network beyond Beachbody. So it's people that are not affiliated with Beachbody, because what happens is if you and Instagram stories. Yes, that was the other thing. Like crazy Instagram stories. Not how you can do that. Which Jen said too is so important. But yeah, as far as who to follow and who to find, do not follow Beachbody coaches, you guys, because what happens with the algorithm is then you are only going to see Beachbody coaches. And so you're trying to find new people and, you know, new faces to follow. Definitely if you have some friends on the team, or, you know, you just like, maybe you're like, wow, I can't believe what Erin Novak's doing. I really want to follow her. Perfect. Like have a few of those. But your feed cannot be made up of that. Like it needs to be people that you're connecting with who you could potentially have as customers or coaches on your team. Like that's the goal. Other MLMs. I think other MLMs like could be fine. Like if it's I would just look at their profile. Obviously, if they're like top at Rodan and Fields, they're probably not going to join your team. But you know, if it seems more like a hobby or whatever, like I think in that instance, I would probably look at, like, are they my person? And if we really click, like, sure. So I don't think that's as big of a deal, unless they seem like all in with something and there's not a chance that they would. Well,
and you had maybe you're going to get to this, but the whole component of actually going in there and seeing if they end up following you back. Because you don't need to be filling up your feed with people who aren't even watching you, and you're liking all their stuff and commenting on all their things, but they don't follow you back. There's not a mutual, there's no like reciprocation of following or influence. They don't care. Mm-hmm. So you might as well not be wasting wasting your time over time trying to get that person's follow and that you just move on to somebody else. I mean, that's from an action standpoint. If you are spending hours upon hours trying to convince somebody to sign up as a coach and sign up as a challenger, you just need to go find more people. So same thing with Instagram, with Facebook. If you're just getting bogged down with the same 20 people each and every week, your business is never going to grow. So you need to multiply that. If you guys are not, I keep talking about Grant Cardone. I get so fired up about this dude. He is my person, but like his whole thing is like 10x. Like take your goals and multiply them by 10x, because if you finish 90% of, like, let's say your goal is to find 200 people this month, would you rather find 20 people or 200 people? Okay, well, probably 200. And would you rather finish 90% to 20 people or 90% to 200 people? You need to reach higher, find more goals, find more people. And it's just a really good way of looking at this when you guys are trying to figure out, like, oh, do I really want to do all this stuff? That's the only way that your business is going to grow. You have to 10x all of your ideas.
Yeah, I was going to get to this, but people are talking about this cleaner for Instagram. So that's what Jen had talked about, is that so Monday through Friday, she's following 100 people. She's doing 50 comments. She's using Instagram stories all day long, and she's posting consistently. She said, she's like, it doesn't matter necessarily how many posts a day if you're on Instagram stories all the time. At least that was her take on it. But the cleaner then, so that on Saturday, she's like, I take a break on Saturday. Maybe she posts, but she doesn't go crazy on the comments. She takes a family day. And then on Sunday, she goes through with the Instagram cleaner, and she cleans out. What that does is it cleans anyone that's not also following you back. So it will like unfollow. I haven't done it yet. I have it on my list to look into tomorrow. But that's what she does. And then the following week, she starts it all over again. So that way, the number of people that you are following doesn't exceed the number of people that are following you, because that just looks like you don't really have a ton of influence if you're following like thousands of people. So that's really it. And it's basic, right? Like Jake's like, that's so easy. He's like, that's so simple. Nothing earth-shattering. Like, I know, but no one's going to very few will actually implement it. That's the thing. But what I love about this, you guys, is that so often I hear from people like, I'm so intimidated to like reach out to people or whatever. Well, this is a very unintimidating activity. Like, this is something that every single person can do, regardless of if you're new in the business, if you're like super shy, whatever. This is one of those things that will move your business forward regardless. So I am challenging myself, and I want to challenge you guys too.
But the reason that it's easy and not intimidating is because you're just trying to be a good human being.
Right.
Like you're commenting stuff that has nothing to do with Beachbody, has nothing to do with Take Back the Kitchen. It's just cute top, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like something simple. But you guys but let me make another real good point, because I'm feeling it. The other thing that I'm going to say here is when you're doing all that, that's where your consistency showing up on your own page and doing your workouts and being proof that the product works is more important than ever. Okay? Because you're going in there, you're driving engagement, you're driving viewership. People are coming over and taking a look at your page. And if it looks like you're not proof of the product, you're not living the life that you're claiming to live, you're drinking and eating pizza, and it's a matter of just making sure that like once we're getting those people coming over and taking a look at what we do and who we are and what our page is about, what our stories are like, that's where that consistency also really matters, because you're not necessarily asking and pushing product at them, but they're going to come looking to see when they're just curious, like who the person was that left the comment. They go in there. That's kind of your way of just attraction marketing of sorts, getting them interested just because they can relate to you.
Right.
But we got to be consistent.
Yeah. And I really do like what you said about it's just being a good human being. It's not going to other people's pages and throwing up Beachbody. It's just loving on people. And regardless of if they ever purchase from you, you're just loving on them. And if it makes sense for them to work with you, great. If not, then you just made their day by leaving a great comment. So I'm actually like kind of excited to try this. So my challenge to all of you guys is to do this for a full month. Like starting tomorrow, how cool would it be if we just gave it like 4 solid weeks and then we checked back in with each other. So I'm going to make a post in our group page, but what I really want you guys to do is track where you're at right now in terms of how many followers you have, how many people, are you interacting with every day, like keeping track of that. And if it's okay, like we said, it's okay if it's not 100. If that feels crazy, then whatever is comfortable to you. But I think it'd be really interesting to see at the end of 30 days, like we can kind of check in with each other and go, okay, well, what worked, what didn't work, and kind of come up with some best practices, even from these tips. Like, because, some of it is going to have to do with the kinds of comments you leave. Like, you're not going to want to leave like, so cool, awesome, love it, because they're just going to see you as one of those like bots. You need to be genuine and authentic, all that kind of stuff. So that's that. I think that was pretty much it. So just again, from like a marketing standpoint, really looking at the next month going, okay, we have our group starting tomorrow. And then we have the Sweat Well Spent starting on the 26th. Already? We are going to throw in a free week. I'm going to talk to the Diamonds tomorrow so we can come up with a date for that free week of 80-day obsession menus. And then we're also going to start a new 80-day obsession group in March, and we'll come up with that date tomorrow as well.
Hey, one thing that I was kind of thinking about when we were talking about Instagram, and I don't know if you guys do it, have done it, have tried it, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work, but like, is anybody using LinkedIn?
Yeah, you got to tell your LinkedIn story.
So I don't know, like I'm new at it, but I've been trying to be better about journaling lately, where like if I think something's kind of interesting, I just jot it down and post it on Facebook at The Climb or on LinkedIn and all these different pages. I love writing. And so I just had like a really interesting encounter in my lab the other day, and I decided to just share about it really quick, like just like little note about how this guy who years ago didn't have time for me and just kind of blew me off. And then he transferred into my world. And being with Medtronic, which is corporately based in the Twin Cities, and like we're a very large corporation with a lot of product in these labs, he came up to me and wanted to collaborate with me now 6 years later. But like 6 years ago, had no time for me. So I just wrote just a really funny post about how like, just make time to be a resource to people. Today they might be in your world, but you don't know if tomorrow you might end up in theirs. And I got on a plane to go to Orlando, and I had like 5 likes on the page, and like 20 people had seen it. And somebody left a comment that was like, this is such an interesting perspective. I hope this gets airwaves. And then like when I landed, I had 110 people that liked it, and it had been seen by 4,500 people. And then I sent it to Amber. I was like, this is crazy, like 4,500 people and 100. And now it's like at like 300 and some odd people that have liked it. And we've had 40 comments, and it's been seen by over 22,000 people. And I've gotten like comments from people I think who figured out who I was talking about. Never in a million years did I think that like it would get any airwaves and any traction, but like I'm just kind of intrigued by it because it's people like me, right? So I always say this to Amber, I share something on Facebook to show people what's possible, but it kind of comes across as like a D-bag comment. And it's not meant to be. It's just like, hey, this was kind of an interesting observation I had, and hopefully this helps and brings value to people. But as a male on social media and on Instagram and Facebook, like a lot of that stuff isn't taken the same way as like female empowerment. It's just not. So I'm intrigued with LinkedIn because there's a lot of like there's sales reps and HR and strategists and marketers, and maybe I found my jam, but like I think it could be also an opportunity for many of you who are professional as well, and talent. We have a lot of talented writers on this team that I think we could maybe take LinkedIn by storm. Again, do something that not everybody else is doing. And Chad, I'm dead serious. Like Chad and Phil, I see. I don't know if any other dudes are on there, but like I don't think we need to be like bold with Beachbody. Boom, here we come. But I do think like just sharing kind of a lot of the stuff that you guys already put out online. It just seems like it's a little healthier spot for me, at least.
Like Aaron said, Aaron Trier was in HR, and so she used to use it a lot. And yeah, I was just going to say that, Aaron, we have so many Aarons on the team. What is up with that? Aaron McGinnis just commented that Bob Heilig has a great video. And I remember him saying that. We'll have to go back and watch that about how to use LinkedIn for that and how he recommends using
it. I don't see a lot of it. Like none of it pulls up in my feed. I mean, I get a lot of Jay Hilburn type stuff for custom men's clothing, but it's like the only thing that I've seen.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, just another thought. I mean, maybe there's just not a lot of people that are adding value on LinkedIn. So
I don't know a ton of Beachbody people. At least I haven't started following enough of them.
Yeah.
So just a thought.
All right. I think that's it. Okay. Do you guys have any questions about anything that we kind of covered? I know we're kind of all over the place. Hopefully you found some value out of some of the things that we shared. We really just kind of wanted to share, where our minds are at this point. We don't want, just because a challenge group, my point is just because a challenge group is starting, to not go, oh, okay, I think I'll just ease up a little bit. Oh, I can't believe I forgot. I have it on the list, but also reminding you guys to add people to the sneak peeks that are weekly. So I had a question about this, so I just wanted to clarify one more time in case it was a little confusing, that the groups are linked in the cover photo of the Ignition Mission 2018 group. But if you're curious to know what groups you add, the date that's on the group, it'll say this week was February 5th through the 11th. Those are the dates that you add people into that group. So then tomorrow we'll start February 12th through the 16th. And so, or whatever not 16th. I don't know, whatever the date
For
is.
tomorrow?
The 18th, yeah. For tomorrow they'll start adding to the new group. And those will become more polished, you guys, but I'm someone that just believes in going for it, and we will get them as we go. So otherwise, if you wait for it to be perfect, it just doesn't. So we will eventually get to the scheduled posts and all of that. But we've already recruited from this group. So see, if we hadn't done anything, wouldn't have mattered. So anyway, I think that's it. Anyone else have any questions? Oh, cool. Katie Branch said that LinkedIn was the only social media she had before Beachbody. Cool.
I think use it.
Yeah, might as well.
I'm intrigued by it.
I finally hopped on. I hadn't.
It's old school though. I was trying to do a live video on there. You don't do live videos on LinkedIn. You go there and you record your videos. Don't Kathleen, don't go there. I'm so lonely and miserable about podcasting. I just need the time to do it. Amber stole my Tuesday nights, and Tuesday nights were when I like to podcast. And so that's why it's gone silent. But this next one that's coming out is going to be super, super good because Amber's been helping me with it. It's all written. It's just a matter of recording it now. That's going to be talking about how we can better target when we actually are inviting people. And I look at it a little bit more from a corporate lens as I go and I meet with physicians and managers. I do a lot of research beforehand so I can have really intelligent conversations with the doctor about where he trained and what his knowledge is. And I talk about reaching out to different people so you can actually build a story before even reaching, actually inviting directly that person. So Amber and I have been working on it, but the thing that we're excited about with it is this is also going to be the first podcast that I'll actually have a worksheet attached to it, because I've noticed that Bob Heilig and Brenda Shard, a lot of them create worksheets for people, but it's going to be a worksheet that we release to all of you as well. I need a cocktail.
All right. Well, thanks, you guys. We'll go ahead and post the recording, and we will see you next week.
All right, guys.
All right. Bye.